What if I told you that the moment she chose you, she had already been watching you for weeks, maybe months, running quiet little tests you never even knew existed? Not to trick you, not to play games, but because somewhere deep inside her, she needed to know if you were safe, if you were real, if you were him. Most men walk through her life and fail these tests without ever knowing they were being evaluated. But you're still here, and that means something. Let me tell you exactly what it means. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here today because what you are about to learn genuinely changed everything for the men who finally understood it. We talk a lot about attraction, about confidence, about the right things to say, but almost nobody talks about the invisible language a woman speaks before she ever opens her heart completely. Today, we are going inside that world. I'm going to walk you through the silent tests she runs, why she runs them, and what it truly means when a man passes them not by trying harder, but by simply understanding something the others never did. Stay with me until the very end, because the most important insight I share today, I'm saving for or last. So let's begin where all of this actually starts, not with words, not with grand gestures, but with something far more quiet and far more powerful than either of those things. Sign number 1, the test of stillness. Can you handle her without flinching? Picture this. She's having a hard day. Nothing catastrophic, just one of those heavy gray afternoons where everything feels like too much. She says something a little sharp. Maybe she withdraws. Maybe she goes quiet in a way that feels distant and cold. And here is where most men either push too hard asking what's wrong 12 times, or they shut down completely and make her feel guilty for feeling anything at all. But here is what she is actually testing in that moment. She is asking, without words, can you hold me even when I'm not easy to hold? A woman who has been through enough knows that any man can be warm when the weather is good. What she needs to know, what she desperately needs to know, is whether you will stay steady when she isn't at her most lovable. Will you panic? Will you get defensive? Will you need her to manage your emotions while she's trying to manage her own? Pause for a moment and think about this. The man who passes this test doesn't fix her. He doesn't lecture her. He simply stays. He says, with his presence alone, I'm not going anywhere. That kind of stillness isn't weakness, it's the most attractive thing in the world to a woman who has spent years around men who couldn't handle her depth. Your takeaway. Stillness under emotional pressure is not passivity, it is the deepest form of strength she will ever test in you. Sign number 2, the mirror test. Does he see me or his idea of me? There is a moment, sometimes it happens on the 3rd date, sometimes on the 30th, where she will show you a part of herself she doesn't normally show. A fear, an insecurity, a strange little habit, or a dream that feels embarrassing to say out loud. And she will watch your face like a hawk, not because she's insecure, but because she has been burned before by men who smiled and nodded and then used that vulnerability against her later, or simply never thought about it again. She is testing whether you actually see her, not the version you fell for, not the beautiful highlight reel, but her. The complicated, layered, sometimes contradictory real person underneath all of that. Let that sink in for a second. When she shares something tender, the man who passes this test doesn't rush to reassure her or pivot to a story about himself. He slows down. He leans in emotionally, not just physically. He says, in some form or another, that part of you doesn't scare me. That part of you is safe here. Women remember those moments forever. They become the foundation everything else is built on. Your takeaway. The man who makes her feel truly seen, not just admired, becomes the man she simply cannot imagine leaving. Sign number 3, the patience test. Will he rush me toward where he wants to go? A woman's emotional timeline is not a negotiating tactic. I want you to really hear that. When she seems to be moving slowly, opening up slowly, committing slowly, trusting slowly, she is not testing how much you want her. She is watching whether you will respect her pace, or whether you will eventually reveal that your patience has an expiration date. So many men pass the early rounds of this test beautifully. They're patient, they're understanding, they say all the right things. And then somewhere around month 3 or 4, the pressure starts. Subtle. At first, a comment here, a sigh there, a conversation that slowly turns into a negotiation. And the moment that happens, something inside her quietly closes. Not because she doesn't care about you, but because now she knows. She knows that your patience was conditional. And conditional patience isn't patience at all, it's strategy. The man who passes this test understands that a woman who has been hurt before doesn't need to be convinced. She needs to be shown over and over again through unhurried and consistent behavior that you are not going to punish her for needing time. Your takeaway: unconditional patience is not weakness. It is the only key that opens a guarded heart. Sign number 4, the chaos test. Who are you when nothing is going right? Life will always bring chaos. Plans fall apart, moods collide. Misunderstandings happen at the worst possible moments. And she is watching, always gently watching to see who you become under pressure. This is not about whether you're perfect. She is not looking for a man who never gets frustrated. She is looking for a man who, even in frustration, chooses her dignity over his pride. Who can say I was wrong without crumbling? W. How can you disagree without turning disagreement into a wound? Think about this honestly. The men she walked away from before, most of them weren't bad men. They just became someone unrecognizable under pressure. The warmth disappeared. The walls came up, and she realized that the man she thought she knew only existed when life was easy. You pass this test not by being superhuman, but by being accountable. By coming back after the hard moment and saying, "That wasn't fair to you, and I'm sorry." That sentence alone has saved more relationships than any grand romantic gesture ever could. Your takeaway? Character is not who you are on your best day, it is who you choose to be on your worst one. Sign number 5, the softness test. Will he let me take care of him too? Here is one that surprises most men. She is also testing whether you will let her in. Whether you will allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to need her, not just want her. Because a woman who loves deeply needs to feel like her love has somewhere to land. When you are always the strong one, always composed, always self-sufficient, never asking for comfort, she begins to feel decorative, like she is something to be admired, read and maintained, but not truly needed. Let her see your bad days. Let her make you tea when you're exhausted. Tell her what's weighing on you, not because you need her to fix it, but because you trust her enough to hold it with you. That vulnerability, that soft, brave act of letting someone truly in, is what she has been waiting to feel since the very beginning. Your takeaway: the man who allows himself to be loved, not just admired, is the man she will fight the entire world to keep. Here's what I really want you to know, what I wish someone had whispered to every man she ever walked away from before you. She didn't test you because she doubted you. She tested you because she has a heart that has been through things you may never fully know. And she needed to be sure. She needed to know that this time it was real. That this time she wasn't going to hand over the most tender parts of herself only to find out she was alone again. And you somehow, in ways perhaps even you didn't realize, you showed up. You stayed. You saw her. And that, my friend, is not something she will ever take lightly. At the heart of everything we've talked about today is one single truth. Whoa. Man doesn't choose the most impressive man, she chooses the man who made her feel the safest to be completely herself. That is the secret the others never understood. And now, you do. If this resonated with you today, I'd love for you to give this video a like. It genuinely helps this channel reach the people who need to hear this most. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these signs hit closest to home for you. And if you want more content like this, honest, heartfelt conversations about love, connection, and what women really feel, subscribe and stay close, because I have so much more to share with you. And remember this always: the right woman isn't looking for a perfect man. She's looking for a real one, and real is something you already are.